Hi! How is everyone tonight? Welcome to Living in the Light, and I'm Mary Amy. I'm coming to you live from New York, and I'm all about shifting away darkness, guiding you to your truest potential, and cracking open that beautiful glowing light in your heart. Welcome. It's April 11th, and it is Tuesday in the Matrix. And you can see, well, the sun's gone down, so we are about to head into evening. And I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. I don't know if you had any celebrations. I hope you spent some time in nature with loved ones, with family, with friends, ate some food. Maybe you did something related to the holiday. I don't know. Maybe you ate chocolate. Whatever it is, I hope you had a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend. Hi, music. Thanks for joining us. Anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let me share with you that I have come to a point, and I'm sure I'm going to be here at this point, and then I'm going to take a breath, and then I'm going to travel to the next point. And that's kind of how I operate. I see something, I evolve into it, or I learn about it, I transform, and then I take hold of it, and then I move again to the next position. And what I'm referring to is basically an accumulation of information. Have you been accumulating information? I have, because there's just an endless amount. And the reason why is you and I most likely have been on believing and having the understanding that we knew everything that was going on around us, and we based it on basically what we saw with our eyes, what we heard. And then after time, at least in the last 2 years, maybe it's been longer for you, you realized, I think there's something else out there that I'm supposed to know about so that I can make an informed decision. And that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been trying to learn as much as I can because I felt like there was no end to what was out there and what I was supposed to know so that I could make an informed decision, because I realized that there was a lot of con men, and I've said that recently, and there was a lot of deception. And I'm not going to go down into this negative mindset or relaying this information to you and being dark or negative. I'm just saying that's kind of what I hit now. I'm kind of at a wall that I hit. And I said, okay, I'm reading up on more tonight, which is Operation Sandman, Project Sandman, Agenda 21. I'm going to talk about the white hats and the black hats, complacency, and anti-gravity, TR3B. Of course, I'm going to touch on angels and psychic phenomenon. And today I was listening to some more podcasts, and I realized there's no end to this. So I'm going to kind of break it down or tell you what my perspective is about how to deal with this moving forward, because we can only take so much, and then it's exhausting to hear about all this disclosure. And that's what I mean, disclosure. Are you realizing there's an endless stream of disclosure, and some of it's worse than others? And I'm not really going to talk about any dark stuff tonight. I'm just going to kind of shed some light on what's going out there in the physical reality. Now, before I get on to that, I just want to remind you to write down your dreams. Maybe you jot them down when you wake up, as soon as you wake up. And maybe it's just a little description, how you're feeling emotionally. Are there signs, symbols? Is it directing you to go into a certain place or situation in your life? And also your intention and how powerful your thoughts are. Don't forget that. Your thoughts are really powerful. And that's why we're touching on these topics, but let's remind ourselves that our thoughts can change reality. Our thoughts can change the physical reality that we're in, and because they're very powerful, and they carry a charged impulse, and they carry an emotion, and they carry feelings. So your thoughts can shift someone else's thoughts. That's why if someone speaks to you and you tell them maybe a task you're doing or a project you're doing or a goal you have or a desire, if they say something negative, if they say it and they think it, they can destroy your plans. So you must be careful with who you tell your desires and dreams to. And getting back to how important our thoughts are. Your thoughts are really powerful. And you can create an amazing dream. You can create amazing outcome. And I'm giving you hope. And I'm telling you that there's a beautiful world coming. And there is dark forces. And there are all these enemies that we have out there. It's like when you go to one of those games. Have you ever gone to a fair or, one of those, it's like a traveling fair in your town and they have the ducks going by and you're shooting at them. That's what it kind of is. I sense that we are kind of trying to shoot down all these ducks with this water pistol or this little, gun that's shooting air at it. And I don't know if they're going to just keep popping back up. So it doesn't matter. What matters is you. What matters is you, how you feel, your heart, natural, organic, you, because your DNA is gold. It's powerful. And as time goes on in this physical reality, you're going to realize the more that you stay in love and compassion and hope, the more of your DNA will activate. And so maybe you're going to hear ringing in the ears. Maybe your body's not going to feel like normal. Maybe you're going to change your eating habits or your sleeping habits. And don't despair. Don't say, this is so weird. Accept it. Maybe you're going to have visitations from spirits or angels or extraterrestrials, or maybe you're going to have more psychic phenomenon happen to you. There are many possibilities. Hey, Craig. Hey, Bob Harding. Hi, guys. So happy you guys are here. Oh, you got to go to sleep. Okay, that's right. You're in the UK. Positive vibes. Fantastic, all of you guys. Thanks for joining us. And we have to have that at the end of the day, with all the information we learn, the only thing that matters, yes, it's good to have awareness, and that's for decision making. But we don't want to go down to low vibrational energies or frequencies or thoughts or emotions. We want to stay lifted. You want to always be shooting for higher than you are, for a bigger dream, for a bigger desire, a better outcome. Because when you shoot up here, you end up here. Always want to shoot high, the most humongous goal. And that's what I'm doing. I'm saying, you know what? Pooey on that stuff. And if someone sits around and is super cynical and they say, well, devil's advocate, it's just criticism. It's supposed to be helpful. I say, you know what? I don't really need it. Or I just don't listen. I don't listen. And I say that person is not being optimistic. I'm going to stay in the optimistic perspective. And then that's where balance will come. Okay, because we get shot down enough out there in this simulation, in this matrix. And if we want to rise up, we want to have personal power, we have to have optimism. And we have to know that our thoughts can change everything. Okay, so let's get into it tonight, guys. You guys are so funny. Having your own conversation. All right, so Operation Sandman can also be called Project Sandman. And I'm getting into this because I've been speaking about the 0 day. I've been speaking about BRICS, which is this Brazil. It's an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And all of these countries that have joined this BRICS, which is no longer will the dollar be the main currency. And then we've spoken about Nasara Jasara and how it would be wiping out all of our debt. It would be debt forgiveness. Rah, 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 cross our fingers. It would be no more IRS. It would be no more Federal Reserve. It would be none of that stuff, which I think was created by the Rockefeller, Mr. Rockefeller. And we spoke about 0 day. Now there's been signs, these banks. So what is the future exchange going to be? Well, there's the FTX collapse, 300 billion. Now Signature Bank, there's been Silvergate Bank, the Silicon Valley Bank, the bank runs, the Credit Suisse, which I look every day at the stock, and it seems to be, it's below 80. Is it 80 cents? Is it like 74 cents? I forget. It's a low number. and 20 banks, or is it $80? I don't know. There you go. Not so good with numbers, but it's down there. So 200 banks ready to collapse. So is this going to be, they call it a force majeure, which is too much debt and dollars is worthless. So is the dollar about to be worthless? Which means, and I've spoken to you about this, should we go out and should we go buy some gold? Because gold is always going to be worth something, or silver, gold or silver coins. And if you have extra income to do that, or are you paying your bills and you just don't have any extra to do that? Do I think that we're going to be screwed? No, I don't. I trust. I have trust. I have a good feeling. I don't have panic. I'm not fearful. Fear is a low vibrational energy, but I'm just bringing awareness that this is something that's going to happen. When? Well, I had heard it was going to happen by Easter Sunday. Didn't happen. The $0 day, which is everything goes down to zero and all the money's worthless. So I read about this Operation Sandman, which is kind of in the same, it's in the same realm. And so are these all going to end up being under the same umbrella? So Operation Sandman, which is 100 plus nations came to this agreement. Well, it's 142 to be exact countries. Dump the dollar, abandon the petrodollar, a collaboration of 100 plus nations in agreement to sell off their U.S. Treasury holdings. So is this also under BRICS? I'm not quite sure. It's in maybe another terminology. It's very similar. But this is another sign here. So the dollar and all dollar denominated assets will plunge to near zero overnight. So you'll wake up and basically it'll say zero in your bank account. And then the banks will all close and they'll say, oh, well, this is what we're going to do next. And everyone's going to, I don't know, panic, freak out. If you know about it, then you won't. If you're just aware, because when we freak out, do you notice that when you freak out, what happens exactly? So let's say something upsetting happens to you. Maybe it's someone passes away. Maybe it's a change of your job. Maybe a relationship breaks up. Maybe it's something physical. Someone, is physically aggressive to you. Someone screams at you on the road. Have you ever been on the road and someone screams at you? And then what's the emotion you have? You kind of go into this freak out mode because you're trying to adjust. So we don't want that to happen. We have to have awareness. If you have awareness, your emotions will not take you over and you'll have like a very upsetting response. So let's just be aware that this is a possibility. And that's why I'm getting into these subjects and these topics to bring awareness. Plus, see what the trend is, see where things are going, and then not get in the back of the neck. You ever have someone who just, you think they're being super nice to you, and I'm going to get into The Art of War. There's a book called The Art of War. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's an old time book. It's from 1910. I'm going to get into the main factors that affects war's outcome, because we are in a war. And I said it, we are in a spiritual war. So the dollar and all dollar dominated assets will plunge to near zero overnight. This is the philosophy of Operation Sandman. Is this something that's already being created? Is this something that's done intentionally? These are the ways you have to look at things. Was this by accident? Was all this inflation by accident? Was printing the printer press in the government? Were they just like, get it going, make all that money and ship it to other countries? And we're not going to tell you where it is. Was that by accident? I say things just happened. People say that all the time. Well, that just happened. Really? Really? It just happened? It takes a lot of planning to just happen. Well, I just did that. It just happened. Well, you have to really think about it. It takes action. It takes words. And thoughts. I don't think it just happens. So be aware that it just doesn't happen. So Operation Sandman, Project Sandman, bank turmoil, inflation, and debt ceiling. These are all a consideration. Now, maybe you're like, oh, Mary, this is so boring. But you know what? You're not going to say it's so boring when all of a sudden either you lose your money out of your bank account, or you're like, wait a second, what was she talking about? And I should have been paying attention. This is for you to have awareness, because you have inside of you all of the answers. So when you hear information, it either resonates with you, where you say, oh, I need to pay attention, or you say, no, that's not true, right? Because you have a human lie detector test. So that's why you take the information and you have some kind of way of understanding it and knowing it and shooting out the answer within you, okay? Whatever's right for you. So while gold and silver are many substitutes for actual money, gold, silver, oil, natural gas, water, copper, strategic metals, agriculture, produce, and farmland. Those are what's going to be valuable. Okay, I'm going to say it again. What's going to be valuable? What's going to be an asset in the future, no matter what? Gold, silver, okay, oil, natural gas, water, copper, strategic metals, agriculture, produce, and farmland. Now, it's really interesting to me when I read about this and I read farmland. I said, that's so interesting. Wasn't Bill Gates buying all this farmland? So does he know something we don't? Is this all planned? Are we just like guinea pigs and this is a big experiment? Are we in a simulation and they're like, we're going to take bets. How are these humans going to handle this? What are they going to do? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. So Project Sandman describes 100+ nations agreement that will see those nations simultaneously dump the dollar and abandon fiat currency, counterfeiting, and material abundance at the expense of everyone else. When this decision is triggered, so is there going to be an event that triggers this? Is it going to be quantum financial system that comes in? Is it going to be Operation Sandman, whatever this digital system? Or is it going to be a whole other currency that I'm not even mentioning? I don't know, but something's going to come in because the system has collapsed. It really has. It's just being held up, isn't it? The system is being held up. Are they altering the numbers? Are they pretending to put money in? Are they putting money into these banks? Because if you go to your bank, if every single person in the US of A goes to their bank, can they get their money out? And even if you have a small amount, can you get your money out? I don't know. That would be a big bank run, wouldn't it? Hey, you guys crack me up. I'm paying attention. I've got big boy pants. You got big boy pants on. Get those big boy pants on. I had a dream my bank called me and said they used all my money to pay their bills and told me a whole while ago. Well, it's so funny because I had heard about that. I had heard someone a story about a story, someone else. It's hearsay. It's hearsay. It's not a somebody I know. I heard that somebody wealthy went to go get their money, and they told them 6 weeks, and then they said they only got part of it, and it took 6 weeks. So I don't know. I mean, I don't have enough money in there. I think that they can give me my money. If I had 100 grand, I don't know. Or if you want to liquidate your assets, I don't know. I'm not sure, but just be aware of what's going on. So when this decision is triggered, so whatever's going to trigger it, I'm not sure, but it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. The dollar and all dollar denominated assets will plunge to near zero overnight. And this means all dollar denominated bank accounts, pension funds, treasuries, and other investment vehicles will be essentially worth zero. All bank markets will freeze operations. So your bank would close down. That's what would happen. Am I fear-mongering? No, because guess what? If we want this 5-dimensional world, this world that's all about nature and farms and gardens and sovereignty and self-governing and water and love and peace, like the golden age that I speak of, then all of this poo has to go to zero because something else has to come in that's better. It just has to be. And that's what I believe. This is a possibility. So just be aware something's about to happen. Hey, Michael Jackson, community, right? We'll walk out of our homes and we'll hug one another. And that's how it's going to be. And you and I are going to be speaking to each other telepathically. Now, I have had visions, and I know that this information that I've received from about off-world, off-planet life and existences and star families and technology is all going to happen. How long is it going to happen? How fast is it going to take? I think that we are going to be activated, all of us. All of our insides will be activated, and then we'll be able to have superpowers. We will be able to do things like travel through the air, levitate, telepathy. We'll be able to time travel. All of that's possible. We're in the dark ages. We don't know. We've been living in this little world here, and we've been controlled, and we don't realize what's possible. And all of this is possible. And when all of us is activated, all of our DNA, that is why they want to have transhumanism. That is why they want to inject us with stuff so that they can not make us, part human, cyborg, whatever you want to call it, because they're all about man-made, artificial AI. And that is going to destroy the human race. That is being done through, and we're going to talk about some of that. That is being done through some of the governments. That is being done by some of these evil forces. And I'm going to get into that in just a minute. I first want to talk about Agenda 21. Everyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Take It UK has have similar changes, of course. Well, you know what? I'm wondering, is the United States already involved in either Operation Sandman or BRICS, and we just don't know it? Because guess what? We are the last to know. If you see it on mainstream media, then it's happened eons ago. Eons ago. And we think we are. Do you really believe that some of these spacecrafts crashed in the 1940s and before that, or there was the Anunnaki here thousands of years ago, or these draconian reptilians, and we do not already have technology, and we're going to get into these anti-gravity secret space program black triangle? Do you really think that our phone, that is nothing? That is zero technology. That is a baby toy to them. All right, so Agenda 21, what exactly is that? Agenda 21 is something that was developed and came about in 1992 after the Earth Summit. And so what they said was, they were all these leaders that were planning behind our backs. So if we had looked over our shoulder back then and we weren't just like, I just have my 9-to-5 job in the Matrix. Oh, we didn't call it the Matrix probably back then. I have my 9-to-5 job, and I'm just trying to pay my mortgage and put money aside in my 401k. And maybe I can go on a vacation. Come on, honey, let's go to a travel agent. That kind of thing. That was the world. Oh, look at what everyone's wearing. That's the new exercise. Oh, look at that, what's on the TV. We were just in a state of we were being hypnotized. We were mind controlled. We were brainwashed. And during that time, these leaders got together, like they have for the Bilderberg group. They got together and they had an action plan. They said of the UN, and they said, we're going to have sustainable development. We're going to make sure that, this is what we're going to say. This is what we're going to tell them. We're going to protect the environment from global warming and climate change. We're going to put it under that. We have other plans. This was 31 years ago. 31 years ago. I don't know how old everyone who's watching is. take it, you can. But 31 years ago, in 1992, they came up with Agenda 21. And it's been executed in 31 years by all the governments. And guess what? You'll hear about it. When I tell you, you're going to say, aha, I know exactly what she's referring to. Because you'll hear what it's been called since then. So it's been executed by the governments on local, national, and global levels. So 178 governments voted on the program. So they disguised it as environmental movement. Oh, we're going to protect our environment. We're going to make sure we have clean waters, and we're going to recycle, and we're going to create a one world government. And we're going to take away their freedom. And we're going to impose land regulation. And we're going to force citizens to move to cities. What is this sounding like? We're going to cut the world population. What is this sounding like? They're going to allegedly, it was a program for environmental development. Now, do you remember a few years ago, they were like, oh, use plastic, don't use plastic straws, the environment, use paper. Seriously? I worked in stores in the Matrix. Do you know in one day how much plastic is shipped? They ship everything in plastic and styrofoam and cardboard. They're not trying to recycle. They're not trying to protect the environment. This is hogwash. Hogwash, I'm saying. Heck no, they're not. So Agenda 21 is basically NWO. Yes, it is. It's a secret agenda camouflaged as sustainable development, climate crisis and climate change, and let's worry about global warming. And that's what they did. And then they kind of pit us against each other. So is there such a thing? Well, guess what? All those CEOs and all those government officials, they're all driving around in big old jet planes, going to all these summits and all these conferences, and they're polluting our environment. And they're like, oh, yeah, there's a chemtrail. And oh, yeah, there's all this junk in the water. And oh, yeah, who puts all this GMOs in our food? All those big corporations. So the Vanguard, the BlackRock, they're all in cahoots. So don't believe any of this. So the Agenda 21 is really the 2030 plan that they've been rushing because they realized the timelines. Because there's the timeline of the ascended and the awakening, you and I. And we said, oh my gosh, my eyes just opened. Do you see what's really going on here? They're telling me to look over there, but I'm looking right here and I see that's a bunch of lies. That's a bunch of lies. So I'm waking up and I'm going to go like this to my neighbor. Neighbor, wake up. Do you see what's really going on? And my neighbor's still asleep. But you know what? I'm going to keep headed towards awakening because even if my neighbor doesn't wake up, maybe they'll eventually wake up. Maybe eventually I'll just have to drag them along a little bit. Or when they do wake up, I'll hold their hand because they're not going to want to see what I've already seen. So the 2030 plan, one world government, cashless currency, the world central bank, a one world military, one end of sovereignty. It's this crazy religion where there's two sexes. It's all of that stuff, he, her, they, all that kind of stuff. End of the family unit, depopulation, end of privately owned property, universal basic income. Remember, you heard the guy, eat some bugs, drive an electric car, and you will like having nothing. In fact, you will love it. That guy's just disappeared. Where did he go? I don't know. I hope he's gone for good. So it would end privately owned property, universal basic income, which means that you and I would be making the same amount. Now, is that a terrible thing? Well, I don't think it's what we thought it was. It's basically would be that there'd be these leaders above it, these puppeteers, and we would be the puppets like the little mouse in the maze. And again, we would be enslaved. It's just more enslavement. So we would be microchipped for all purposes. There would be a world credit system. I'm going to get on to the white hats in just a second. There would be this 5G monitoring. Now, I've been reading up and hearing all about, I've spoken about the satellites. I've been speaking about Starlink, and it really kind of caused me a little I was a little disarmed about it, and I have a lot of reservations about this 5G because I speak about how the frequencies are bothering our systems because our systems in our vessel are very sensitive. Now you say, oh, Mary, you're just sensitive because you're an empath. I'm going to tell you right now, you're just as sensitive as me. You're just shutting a lot of it down where I'm more vulnerable. And you have the same sensitivity. And you maybe have discovered that when we've done psychic phenomenon, because when you take away your thoughts, because our thoughts are basically information that we've been programmed to know out here. Our intuition, our clairsenses are the truth. It's really how your heart and your spirit are responding. It's the truest version of you. And so you're really actually just as sensitive as me. You've just probably either tune it out or you handle it a different way. Maybe you handle it because you have an addiction. Maybe you handle it by joking. Maybe you handle it by anger. Maybe you, I don't know, but you handle it a different way than I do. I just I'm just basically a raw nerve half the time. And people that are around me, if I get a whiff of their hurt in their heart, I automatically kind of have a tear because I'm that open. So we must become more and more open. Back to this before we get on to the white hats. So this 2030 plan, is it really Agenda 21? I think it is. It sounds very similar. It's the end of private transportation, restrictions of travel, end of private farms. Now, what I'm saying is starting to make me sound like, wait a second, a lot of this has already happened. They're already talking about injecting us, right, with microchips. They're already doing 5G monitoring. Is there monitoring of us? Government-owned schools, universities, and colleges. Well, there's a lot of programs that are in these schools now that the families and the parents aren't very much satisfied with. They're saying, I don't know if I want Johnny or Jane to be taught this at school. Maybe I'm going to homeschool. So a lot of this has already happened. A lot of it's already happened. So be aware. So are they going to be treating our livestock? Restricted land use. Some of this has already happened. There's been burning of farms. There's been some kind of organization in controlling us when it comes to, I spoke about the chickens, all these chickens getting sick, all of these food processing centers. 90 food processing centers in 2022 were burned down, or there was a fire, an accidental fire. All of this is a little bit coincidental. So the ban of synthetic drugs and naturopathic medicine. So just be aware that this is something that is present right now. So what's going to happen? Well, you know what? If you say, oh, tell me what's going to happen. Well, why do you think I know? It's all going to be based on our thoughts. It's all going to be based on our collective consciousness. So we can create with our thoughts the outcome. You and I have that much power within us. We have that much power in us. We can change the outcome. So watching all this and reading all this and learning about this in the last few days, I said, that's a whole lot of control. And how do I feel about that? So that's restraint, that's influence, that's power, that's regulation. And it comes down to basically natural versus artificial. And is there some kind of devices or mechanisms that are going to control us forever? Or are we going to kind of step out of this with this ascension? And I truly believe that we are moving up out of this. That's behind us. And maybe I'm being ultra optimistic. I don't think so. And I started saying to myself, what the heck's going on here? And then I said, okay, we have these white hats that are supposedly, allegedly out there working for the betterment of the world, the United States, versus this black hats, which are the dark forces and doing things to kind of harm us, and basically good versus evil, God versus Satan. And here are some verses that are kind of floating around: off planet AI, on planet AI, off planet extraterrestrials, on planet extraterrestrials, people versus people. Do you sense that people are they in the midst of just this debate with each other, a constant debate? Is it people versus fake? Is it people, the people of the world versus clones, versus doubles, versus masks, versus actors? There's all this that's roaming around right now. And this is a lot coming at each of us. So I'm just covering my eyes, and I'm saying, how can I get through all this? It's just too much. And is it a distraction from something else? Is it the people versus the Illuminati? Is it the people versus the secret societies? Is it the people versus the Freemasons? Is it the people versus the K-Mafia? Is it the people versus the black nobility? Is it the people versus the Venetian aristocrats? Is it the people versus the Lux Cathedral? Is it the people versus the Committee of 300? Have you ever heard of any of these terms I'm saying? These are the dark forces. These are those that are and have been for thousands of years here, monitoring, dominating, having power over, influence, controlling the globe. The Committee of 300, known as the Hidden Hand. Is it the Pace-Your family? And those are terms that are not spoken about. Those are names that are not spoken about, because it's like, shh, you don't mention them. And I'm mentioning them because I want you to have awareness. This is what's out there. And you're saying, oh, more of this. Well, I'm a truth seeker. And what I like to do is I like to get all the boundaries. Just like when I do an intuitive reading with someone, I right away go all the way in. When I hold their hand and I get everything that's in them, their personality. It's not even work. I just gather it up, and it's almost like I don't know how you describe it. It's like I get a sense of exactly all their energy, probably, and all their boundaries. And that's what I do with this. And so those are what we're up against. I just listed it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to look into this book, The Art of War. What exactly is that? Because the art of war is something they've been talking about. It was written in 1910. It is simply the expansion of consciousness versus the shrinking of consciousness. Okay. And so do we want to say all of this? Because all of it basically is us against them. So should we be living in that all the time? Should we always be on the wheel? You know, the gerbil on the wheel. When I was a kid, I had these gerbils in a tank, and it would just run on this wheel. The poor thing would just run, 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 run. I don't know where it was going, but that's what we've been doing. So do we want to keep running? No, we don't. And we're not going to keep running. What we're going to do is we're going to stay wherever we are. We're going to have gratitude for this moment. Gratitude for this moment. And we're going to tune into our hearts. And we're going to tell ourselves, we're going to have mantras like, I am powerful. I am safe. I am brave. I am strong. And if evil comes knocking at your door, or if something negative, you don't counter it with hostility, anger, fear, any of that. How you deal with it is you send it love. You wrap light around it, because it does not have any advantage over you when you do that, because you are raising your vibration, your frequency to something that they cannot connect with. Now, a lot of what I mentioned, maybe it is being controlled by this off-planet AI. And they cannot get at you unless you succumb to it, unless you give it power, unless you let it own you. So you just separate yourself. Another way is you ground yourself. You imagine your feet firmly planted in the earth. You get out in nature. You meditate. Do not let negativity take hold of you. I hope our galactic friends will nurture us through this. We have to nurture and have power within ourselves. No one is saving us. You will save yourself. So the art of war. This is this famous book you hear about, and they all study it, I think, in military school, and leaders, and I don't know, all of, maybe they have classes on it. So I looked into it, and there's 5 main factors that affects a war's outcome. Think about this, 5 main factors that affect a war's outcome, and it's from the book of Art of War. Okay? Number 1, the quality of the ruler. The quality of the ruler. What do you take that to be? Probably who's ruling, who's in charge, what's going on. So what are you up against? 2, the weather, go figure. 3, the terrain. I mean, they're literally talking about going to hunt, into war, physical war. We can take this metaphorically. We can look at how this is going to affect us and take this information. 4, leadership. 5, the state of the army. So if you were to say that we are like a little mini army, or we could say we're a big army because we've hit past 30% critical mass of those that are awakened, and every day more and more. Did you see, I don't even want to say, one of these spiritual leaders was caught doing some stuff, and everyone's realizing that he's a weirdo too. He's a weirdo too. And we're going to see more and more of this disclosure. It's going to keep coming out, and it makes me sick to my stomach, and I don't want to watch it anymore, and I don't want to know. So I'm just going to a place of love and light. Strong push into social credit and avatars. People who live in the nature will appear to be supernatural. We can be more powerful if we tune inward. Okay, so the art of war. So there's those 5. The quality of the ruler, weather, terrain, leadership, and the state of the army. So you can take these factors into account. You must deceive the enemy about their strengths and weaknesses. So this is one of the factors and one ways to gain, to win against our enemy, you could say. And our enemy could be the artificial, the man-made, some of those that I recited to you, the dark forces, whatever it may be. So you must deceive the enemy about their strengths and weaknesses. In other words, if you look at what's going on in the political arena, if you look what's going on out there in the matrix, you will see that they are constantly showing they're believing that they are more powerful than they are, and then they're losing, and they are deceived about their strengths and weaknesses. They think they're more powerful than they are, and it's all about kind of, I guess, acting as though you're not aware. It's kind of people underestimate you. I've had that happen to me many times, that I'm underestimated about what I'm capable of doing. I don't show all my cards. I don't overshare, and I don't speak about it. I just do it. So frustrate the enemy's plans. Attacks may be direct or indirect. An enemy overestimates the odds. And we've kind of seen that in the past, and then they have to do something backhanded. Attack in unexpected places. And this causes the army to split up and become disorganized. So just be aware that these are motivations and intentions and game plans that you will see playing out in the matrix. Just stand back and just go back inward. I mean, it's something to be paying. So don't be distracted and say, oh, we're losing, or oh, we're winning, or just tune inward. You'll be stronger for everyone if you do that, and you find your personal power. Now, there's symbols in this book, The Art of War. Water, Master Sun uses water. Water moves fluidly in the state of the path of least resistance. Stay on the path of least resistance. Now, I've always gone up against everything. Pray. Yes, Michael Jackson, pray. I've always gone up against things. I go through them rather than I probably am like taking the least traveled path. Also, animals is a symbol in this book. Animals, they mention how animals have an innate nature. Now, I find this very interesting because I always say, tune into your intuition. And that's somewhat animalistic. That's something instinctual. And we should be tuning into how we find things intuitively, instinctual. And you have natural strengths. So lean into your natural strengths. So basically, just be aware of who the enemy is and don't overestimate them or underestimate them. Look for their weaknesses and strengths and know yours as well. Because some of this is about our ego. Some of this failure is about us believing we are capable of anything. And we are just, I guess, overestimating our strength. So just be aware. Just be aware and just consider this. Okay, so I'm going to get on to complacency. And when we're already at 46 minutes, and the reason why I'm bringing up complacency, maybe I'll bring up light on the horizon before complacency. Light on the horizon, good things are coming beyond our view. A difficult situation will improve. And I need to say this, and I'm feeling on the other side of everything. I'm not really worried. I'm more or less sensing that the world is about to change, and yes, it's not going to be maybe a little chaotic and a little frustrating, and we might feel lost for a while. However, it's positive. So good things are coming beyond our view. A difficult situation will improve, and that really is appropriate for this moment that I'm speaking, because that's very true. And I'm going to also bring up angels. And here's two angels. This is from a famous painting, A Soul Brought to Heaven. It's from 1878. You can see these angels carrying this woman who looks injured, and two heavenly beings flying towards a distant light carrying a woman. The angels look upward towards the heaven. So that's pretty positive. And let's know that we have good luck coming. And it's your thoughts. Your thoughts will change the outcome. So what are we going to think positively about? We're going to consider our 5 humongous goals. And what are they? And have you written them down? We're also going to remind ourselves of our 3 beautiful characteristics that make us authentic. And what are those authentic characteristics that you have that make you an original, and no one else is like you? And it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter where you live or what your occupation is. You are beautiful being light as is. You are cherished and loved. All right, so before I get into psychic phenomenon, I want to mention 2 things: complacency and this anti-gravity triangle. So complacency, I'm mentioning this because everything that's going on right now, if we are like looking away, we're like, oh, this is too much, I can't handle it, and we're being complacent. We're like, oh, I don't need to know this. I don't need to know about BRICS or the dollar having no value anymore, or the white hats and the black hats and all these factors that are coming on to the environment that I'm living in, or this civilization, this community. So complacency. We can have complacency. We can get just really settled in and we say, oh, I don't want to do any more of that. And it's okay to kind of take a moment to breathe. Like over the weekend, I definitely took a moment to breathe. And I've been taking little naps here and there. But it's more or less when you are complacent and you don't make any changes, and something actually is going to come into your world, and it's going to be forced upon you. So complacency is self-satisfaction, especially when accompanied by unawareness of actual dangers. And if you're not tuned in intuitively and your clear senses, you might have something knock you, I guess, knock you out of the game, knock you into reality, or into realizing that your eyes were closed, you were blindsided, and you weren't paying attention. So it's accompanied by unawareness of actual dangers. It's called the silent killer, complacency. Anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. I hope it's not too much negativity for one night. So feeling satisfied without things the way things are, and not wanting to make them better. So you're like, oh, it's good as is. Now we can kind of get stagnant. And I've spoken about our energy loop. You know, we can have this energy, we can have this energy loop that we're just traveling in the same energetic pattern, and we can just have the same pattern. We go see the same people, we do the same job, we eat the same lunch, we go to the same places, we spend the time with the same people, that kind of thing. And then we can kind of get a little complacent and stagnant, and we might be in this energetic pattern, and we say, well, how are my 5 humongous goals going to take place? They're just going to happen like that. No, they're not. You have to get out of this loop. And maybe it's your mind, and you're in this mind loop as well. Whatever it may be, how do you do it? For example, today, I just did things differently. I drove to work a different way. I brought something different for lunch. I took the initiative and said, can I do this? And I did some things differently. And when I did this, I jumped timelines. I sensed that I did. So I was maybe a little complacent for last week and the week before, and now I'm not. I've decided to take on, and this will take me to wherever I want to go. So maybe it's unjustified feelings of being pleased with oneself and pridefulness and confidence. So how do we become less complacent? Well, we become more aware, and I'll give you some examples. So how do you become more aware? Well, when you're aware, it's a concept about knowing and perceiving and being cognizant of events. So you're like sitting back, like I say, you're an observer, like maybe you walk into a room, and I've mentioned you sense the energy. Listen, we've done psychic phenomenon enough for you to know. What do? We let go of any tension that we have. We drop down. We're like jellyfish. We're like a rag doll. We take away any thoughts. We are tuning into all of our senses. Now, when you walk into a room, you don't need me to tell you this. You can do this on a daily basis. You can do this if you have to find a solution to something. If you want an immediate answer, you do it for yourself. You do the little exercise. And you say to yourself, here's the question. Maybe you need to write it down. You say, okay, I don't know the answer for this, or I'm walking into a room and I want to know who is my enemy, who is dark, who is not on my side. And I'm going to drop down and I'm going to do all of these little steps. And maybe you're going to do it silently and you're just doing it, checking your breath. You walk into a room and you tune in to one of your senses and you ask the question, who is my enemy in this room? And you wait for an impression, and you will get an answer. It's not going to be about your thoughts. It's not going to be about anything except you're going to receive the answer. So you have this ability now. You can have discernment through your intuitive, clear senses. So it's possible. So you're going to become more aware that way. You're going to do this off this video. Going to have your rallying voice in my dreams. right, be well. All right, so you're going to see yourself clearly. Here's a way to become more aware. You're going to see yourself more clearly. You're going to come from a place, middle of the road. You're going to observe yourself, and you're going to look at yourself. And you're going to say, okay, these are my strengths. These are my weaknesses. This is what I've been hiding. This is a part of me that I don't like. I'm a little bit shameful of it. This is what I did in my life that I'm not so proud of. This is what are my successes. And you're going to be honest. You're going to bring awareness. So you are coming from a place of strength right here. You're realizing who you are. Now, going out into this physical reality beyond the space where you're alone, you will have more strength and more power by knowing this. You will come from an advantage point. A lot of those out there are not operating from this. They're operating from all of this mind control and programming, and they're not really aware. So you're aware. You have an advantage. So you're going to see yourself clearly. You're going to reflect on your life. You're going to reflect on those around you. Who are my friends? Who are the people that I keep around me? Are they good for me? Are they hindering me? Are they supportive? Are they not supportive? Why are they in my life? You're going to look at it and you're going to say, okay, now I have more information and I'm making a choice about who's in my life with knowledge, with information, with data, with reflection. Who's in my community? Who am I around on a daily basis? Pay attention. This is important for you to be out of complacency, for you to become more aware. All right, and you are going to open your mind and your heart. You're going to open your mind and your heart. You're going to have self-acceptance, self-confidence. Oh, I got something in my eye. It's like something flew in my eye. Stopping me from saying this. I'm going to keep going. You're going to accept yourself and you're going to build confidence within you. So you are going to say your three authentic characteristics. What are they? Say them out loud. Say them every morning when you wake up. I am, whatever it is. Maybe it's not a physical. Maybe it's part of your personality. Maybe it's something you've achieved. Whatever it is, it's important for you to credit yourself with your successes and who you are. You might not have anyone else doing that. You might need to do that for yourself because no one is saving us. We must save ourselves. Know that. No one is saving us. There's not somebody coming and being like, oh, you're saved. Everyone here is saved. Do I believe maybe there's a second coming of Jesus Christ? Yes. However, I don't believe that Jesus Christ is going to come and save us. I think Jesus Christ is going to come after we've all figured it out, because that is what we do. We tune inward and we figure it out. Because if you don't figure it out on your own, guess what? All the bad stuff will happen again. You'll never learn. These are lessons that we've had. All right, so you're going to build the confidence within you. I'm proud of you. You're doing it right now by listening to this. You're going to focus on yourself. How your actions, thoughts, emotions align. They do or don't align with your standards. What are your standards? What exactly are norms in the culture? What are your standards versus the norms? Some of these trends that are going on out there, some of this stuff is highly, to me, toxic. It's disgusting. It's bizarre clown world. And it's not really my norm. So I don't base on what everyone else is doing. You know that. I'm not a conformist. I'm a rebel. I am a truth seeker. I'm not looking. I don't care if anyone likes me. I just don't. I never have. All right. And then last but not least, align yourself with your values and beliefs. So be aware that you have something within you that is basically a yay and nay. So within you, you have beliefs and you have values. So make sure that you're lined up with your own, that you're not countering and sabotaging yourself. All right, so let's get on to, before we get on to psychic phenomenon, because we're almost at the 1 hour mark, I'm going to touch on quickly. Now, I brought up these, I've showed you these before, and I've showed you these black triangles. And I said, you know what? I'm going to bring this up because they're talking a lot about UFOs now. And I'm wondering if they're going to be, you know what Project Bluebeam is, where they say to us, oh, look, there's an alien invasion. There's an alien invasion. And then maybe we'll have holograms. Is it hologram or holograph? Hologram. And they're going to shine in the sky these extraterrestrials or Jesus, or they're going to have us believe. Now, these black triangles are from the secret space program, and they are a high altitude vehicle with mass reduction, and they can travel at Mach 9 vertically or horizontally, and it's all based on how much the pilot can handle the stresses of this vehicle. And so they are very thin. They're very thin and very light. And these are, if you want to see, so this is part of what's been going on. We have in the US of A, we have these black projects, the secret space programs and we have created these black triangles, and they are ours. They are of the USA. Now, they're not claiming they are, but literally this literature is online now. You can see it. Christ is likely coming back, but this time in each and every one of us, and higher levels of consciousness, and we will all be capable of things he wants to. I believe so. I agree with you, Music. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you, everyone who was joining us. And I have so much gratitude for this moment. And here we are in a community, and we're being supportive of each other. And thank you. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to keep coming, and I'm going to keep bringing on some of these topics. And I don't know if you're liking them, but this is what I have a sense to do tonight. So here we go. This black triangle is submersible object, and it can move faster. It's transmedium. It can go underwater and in the skies. And this is what we've created. We have this advanced technology. So do you think your phone is advanced? No, it's not. It is a baby toy to them. So this anti-gravity vehicle is known as TR3B. So it's named Astra. Its first operational flight was in the 1990s. That's how long ago they did this, in the 1990s. We are in 2023. So this has been around for a long time, which tells me, what kind of technology do we have now? Have we been, and we're not talking about NASA, because we know that's a made-up arm of the government. We know NASA is fake. It's fake. It's just out there like these systems. And these systems are put out there in our face, but there's all this stuff going on back here, right? And so if this was from the 1990s, what are they doing now? So this triangular-shaped, nuclear-powered aerospace platform developed by the secret space program, the Black Project's Aurora program. So they spent billions of dollars on this. Now, where did they get the money? Well, they funneled it in. That's what the taxpayers are paying for. And we don't know anything about this. And I believe this was from reverse alien technology, and they probably had extraterrestrials helping them with this, whatever it may be. Maybe it was at Area 51 in Groom Lake. So it was tasked by the National Reconnaissance Office, the NSA, and the CIA. So the outer coating of this black triangle, is electrical radar simulation and can change reflectiveness, the radar absorption, color. This polymer skin can make the vehicle look like a smaller aircraft or flying cylinder. So it looks really thin. When you look at it, when it's traveling, it looks super thin. So it has a trick radar, and so it receives falsely detecting a variety of aircrafts, no aircrafts. So in other words, it does not come up on radar. They cannot see it on radar. So it deceives other aircrafts. So it has a circular plasma acceleration ring called the magnetic field disruptor. So it surrounds the rotatable crew compartment, and it's from reverse technology. The plasma, mercury based, is pressurized at 250,000 atmosphere at temp of 150 degrees. So it's called the MFD, generates a magnetic vortex field which disrupts or neutralizes the effects of gravity. So by 82%, the MFD creates a disruption of the Earth's gravitational field upon the mass within the circular accelerator. Very interesting. This technology causes the effect of making the vehicle very light and able to outperform and outmaneuver any craft except UFOs. Are they in competition with UFOs? Heck no, because UFOs can come in and out. They can just disappear. They can go to another. They can go out into another, I guess you want to say, solar system. They can go out into the cosmos. They have that ability. But if we have that advanced technology, what else do we have? The air is filled with ideas. It sure is. It sure is, Michael Jackson. All right, so I've shared with you tonight Operation Sandman, which is also known as Project Sandman. Agenda 21, is it that 2030 plan and they've been rushing it? Well, they've been doing that since 1992. We spoke about the art of war and all of these enemies, or you want to say us versus them. And you know what? It's almost like a mind game. Because after one, you say, oh, I'm going to eliminate another one. I just think tune inward, and we will just raise our vibration to a higher frequency, and we will be out of their, we'll be out of their existence, and they cannot touch us anymore. And then we spoke about complacency and how to become more aware. Of course, we just spoke about anti-gravity and the TR3B. So let's get on to psychic phenomenon, because we passed the 1 hour mark. And I know that it's really important that we do this, because I don't know if you're getting a chance to do it outside of this video. And I know that we are creating basically legions. I speak of legions, tens of thousands of angels, possibly millions of angels from the heavens to earth. And this is a famous painting. And these angels are in a circle and they're holding hands with one another. This is called the Temple of Dance, Celestial Celebration, the Dance of Angels. And it's inspiring revelations, angelic energy. And it's by Botticelli. And that is a beautiful painting. And we have down here the Nativity, and we have the three angels, and then we have these angels above in the heavens. And look, these angels are hugging each other. And I know this. As much as I know my name, and I'm sitting here right now, that angels make a difference. If you want to invite an angel into your mind, into your physical reality, if you want to speak to angels, if you want to read about angels, if you want to speak about angels, they matter, because they are of pure light. They're celestial, they're benevolent, they're here from the heavens. I believe that they greet us when and if we pass. They're messengers, they are protectors, they're warriors. And where we're going in this world, and our mindset, our belief system, where we're going in this 5D or above, we are going to be greeted by angels. And their light will change you. Their light will change you. You will have divine intervention. You will have a way. It's like a middle place, a middle entity that will take you beyond where you believe that you can be, because you have so much more within you, and you might not have cracked open the beautiful glowing light in your heart. But if you ask for angels to come into your life, you might have a mystical experience. You might all of a sudden be doing something and you see nature in your mind. And that's happened to me. You might all of a sudden have this feeling of love in your heart. You might have a smile come across your face. There's something about angels, the angelic beings, that bring light. They just bring light. So I'm giving you that recommendation. Yes, Michael, in fact, you can pick up these ideas out of the field by matching your own vibration. Yes. When you reach beyond yourself to a better way, to a better thought, to a better existence, something improved, and you want to make a big leap, not something little, make a big leap. Ask for something big. Maybe it might be, I want to see heaven. I want to see what heaven looks like. I want, please, Archangel Michael, join me right here in my reality. It might be a big leap for you, might be that you say, okay, next month I'm going to take a trip to another country. I don't know, whatever it is. When you make a big leap, big things happen, opportunities happen for you. And when you least expect it, it's really only our thoughts that are preventing us from our successes. Our thoughts are preventing us from our happiness, our thoughts, because you're seeing the world. You're seeing the world. No one else is seeing the world for you. You're seeing. So the way how you feel, what you see, what your experiences are, your choice, how you see the world. So just be aware of that. All right, so today, what I'd like to do is, I would like to, anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. All right, so here's Archangel Michael. I'm just throwing some out there before I say the psychic phenomenon. Here are some. These are Palladians. These are Arcturians. These are Andromedans. Maybe I'll activate you. These are star families off our planet. They're coming from other planets. Just be aware. Let's crack you open. These are Palladians from the Galactic Federation of Light and the Nordic aliens. Just be aware. Okay, am I bringing something? These are gray aliens. Some good, some bad. Hey, Ghost Knight. Feel things are well, whatever you have. I'm late joining, but my vacuum sabotaged me. I couldn't hear. Aw. Well, you know what? Sometimes these notifications, I realize that they come like a week later. No, they don't come a week later. They come 24 hours later. They say to you, oh, she's live. And it was a long time ago. These are reptilians. Be aware. That's a reptilian eye. I'm just giving you some awareness, and then we're going to get into light. These are the Anunnaki, aliens, group of entities that were defined as various cultures in Mesopotamia, ancient aliens. Those are naughty ones. Here's some reptilians and draconians. Here are some Andromedans, or these are Arcturians. Those might be Arcturians. That's misplaced. All right, and then also I want to remind you about your chakras. Now we've been speaking about our chakras. Let's have awareness to our chakras that run through our body. There's 7 within our body and 5 on the outside. Now the 7 within, all of this is important for us. All of this is important for each and every one of us. Why? Well, when this is all running smoothly, our chakras are spinning, then our energy is properly dispersed, our energy is healing, We are not getting sick. So be aware, our chakras are very important. Grays look just like that. Yes. Oh, well, you know what though? I've learned when some of this stuff shows itself, these ETs, I don't know if it's a disguise or some of them, they really look like that. I'm very like skeptical now. I say, all right, what is this? I go by how I feel, my emotions. So it's not really by what they look like now. It's more what's the energy they're giving me. Think of it that way. So you tune in. All right, so our chakras. Let's be reminded of our chakras, and we're going to walk through them, and then we're going to do some light work. So your root chakra is at the base of your spine. Your sacral chakra is right down here, your sex organs. Your solar plex chakra is right below your chest. It's like right below your chest area. Your heart chakra is obviously your heart. Your throat chakra. Now, if you are not expressing yourself, you will be blocking your heart chakra. You can be blocking all of these chakras that I'm mentioning. Your third eye chakra is between your eyebrows. It's right here. Your crown chakra is on the top of your head. Now, the other chakras that are outside of your body are just as important. So below your feet, 12 inches below your feet, is your earth star chakra, and that's what grounds you. And we've done some exercises where we imagine. We can do it right now while we're sitting here. Let's try that right now. So what I'd like you to do is let out a breath. Here we go. All right, so we're going to relax. We're going to let go of any tension in our hands and our arms and our legs. Maybe do some wiggling, because we want to go to a place kind of of restfulness, stillness, relaxation. And I feel like all the energy is kind of popping out the bottom of my fingertips. And we're letting go. We're dropping down like we're a rag doll. And we are imagining the base of our spine is like all of our energy and all of our, we're holding it up, is just dropping down into our bottom. So we're not holding ourselves up. And we are pushing away any doubt that we can do this. We're dropping down into our physical vessel, our body, pushing away any thoughts, pushing away any doubt. We're having self-confidence we can do this. Now, whenever you are doing psychic phenomenon, just know that it's all about self-acceptance. It's all about having an open mind, having an open heart. Make sure your breath, you're not holding your breath. Sometimes I hold my breath, and I don't know if you do. We don't want to be holding our breath. All right, and so we're going to have confidence, and we are going to have focus. So my suggestion right now is I'd like you to imagine 12 inches. This will help ground you from the bottom of your feet. You imagine this white circular light, about this big. And it's 12 inches from the bottom of your feet. Now that's your earth chakra. You're going to imagine that it's inside the earth. So you're going to see the earth, and you're going to imagine your earth chakra is planted inside the earth. And we're just going to imagine this light. I'm going to be quiet, and let's see any impressions that you receive about your earth chakra. Okay, so I received something. Hey, Trident, I'll read that one. Just one second. This was very interesting. I don't know if I gave you enough time. Sometimes I have no idea how long I close my eyes for. When I did this, I all of a sudden saw all of this light from my earth chakra. This, I guess, is symbolic that I am very grounded. And I saw all this shooting light up. It's from the bottom, my earth chakra. This light shot all the way up over me, which to me is a symbol that I am very grounded. And I think I've become very grounded lately. And I don't know what you received. And then when I went back, I said, okay, now that I know that, I don't want to go into the thought of that. Let me see if I see anything else. So usually I look down, and then what was interesting is something opened up my view, and it was a being, and the being was light. It was some kind of being that opened up my view. So there was something in the ground. Hey, Trident. Hi there. I'm glad caught the guided meditation, going to rewatch from the beginning. Okay, you be well, Trident. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so every time we do this, we are practicing a little bit more about what our senses are telling us. We are trusting ourselves a little bit more. We are becoming acclimated to the concept of our psychic abilities, of our abilities. And you will become more aware and knowing exactly how you can reach an answer, exactly what your skill set is. The more you practice, and let me share with you that every one of us is going to have a different way of receiving the impressions, receiving the information. And I'm just telling you my experience. There's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong. It's your right is going to be different than someone else's right. You have to trust the experience. You have to trust yourself that you're receiving this. When you become activated, whether it's your heart chakra, where it's your third eye chakra, whether it's your activation of your DNA, your light codes, when you're ascending, when you're becoming more open, this will happen rapidly. And sometimes you'll go through little periods where it'll seem like it's so dull. Nothing's happening. I'm not receiving anything. I'm not having enough. It's like a little bit of a high when this stuff happens for you. Because it's a little mystical, it's a little otherworldly, it's supernatural, it's not the norm, and it's exciting. And then it'll stop for a while, and then something else will happen. And part of the reason why it doesn't happen all overnight is because we have to be able to process it. We have to make it real. Because if you received everything all at once, all of your skills, all of your DNA, it would be such a shock that I think we'd have to hibernate in our bedrooms and sleep for like 30 days straight minimum. Because how would you really adjust to all that? Because everything within us, our emotional, our physical, our mental, our spiritual systems, all have to adjust to all of these skills and characteristics and this information. And also your energy has to adjust to it. So, it's coming at the speed of which it's supposed to. So know you're in the right place is what I'm trying to tell you. Hey, Trident, be well. This is my tradition now. I get in the door with my cat and see if part of the show's. Oh, well, thanks for joining us, Trident. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so before we go, because we're almost at 1.5 hours, so we are going to do one more psychic phenomenon because I wasn't here last night. And because I have the energy to do so. So we're going to do one more thing. Let me think about this. Well, before we do that, I'm just going to remind you, it's not going to take long. You have your crown chakra, then you have your soul star chakra, then you have your spirit chakra, then you have your universal chakra, then you have your galactic chakra, and then you have your divine gateway chakra. Now, all of these chakras beyond your crown chakra are all taking you either to your intuition, another realm, spirit guides, angels, other cosmos, and We're not going to do any more with this today. We did one chakra exercise. We're going to do something else. All right, so I'd like you to let go of any tension that you have. And I would like you to, this is something that's going to be for the rest of the world. It's not going to just be for us, but it's going to help you whenever you do healing work for other beings, for other, I guess you want to say, for other I don't know what I should say, other countries, other people, others, then you're actually bringing healing to yourself as well. So don't think like, oh, well, I'm doing this for everybody else. But the truth of the matter is you're getting something out of it is what I'm trying to say. All right, so what I'd like you to do is, and please, anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Mary Amy, and this is Living in the Light. Okay, so let's do this one more time. We're going to do some light work. Have you ever heard of light work? And what you're doing is you're sending light, and you're actually giving yourself light at the same time. So we're going to drop down. We're going to drop down into our seat. We're going to let go of any tension in our arms, our legs. You know, if you have to move your head around, you're like a rag doll, you're like a jellyfish. And we're going to push away any thoughts that we have of doubt. We're going to remind ourselves to breathe. We're not going to hold our breath. We are going to engage with natural breathing. Inhale, exhale. Exhale. So just let go, just feel relaxed. Have some stillness, and you're dropping down physically into your system. And you are having concentration, and you're having focus, and you're taking away any doubt, and you're believing, and you're trusting. And so I'd like you to remind yourself of all your senses. Your clairaudience, your hearing, your clairvoyance, your seeing. You know, you're seeing your third eye, your feeling in your heart, your sense of touch. And so we're very tuned into all our senses, not our thoughts, taking away our thoughts. And now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to imagine a ball of light. I'd like you to imagine a ball of light. Now we can start with having the ball of light. Maybe you're going to see the ball of light in your third eye. Maybe you're going to see the ball of light in front of you. Maybe you want to actually create a ball of light with your hands. Whatever you sense is a way for you to actually sense a ball of light. So the ball of light can be right here in front of us, and it's spinning. So it's a white light. It's a ball of white light, and it's spinning. Okay? Because I want you to imagine creating the light. Now, maybe you're someone that needs to actually hold your hands together, which is rub your hands together. I'm going to take them apart. Maybe you only can take them apart this way. You can't do the cupping of the hands because you lose the energy. And when you have the ball of light in your hands like this, you want to feel some kind of vibration on the palms of your hands. If you've taken any medication, it might not be you might not be able to sense the light, the energy. So you're creating light. I just want you to be aware of creating light. Okay, so maybe you see the light in your mind. Maybe you sense the light within you. Maybe you see the light within your heart. Maybe you imagine light when the sun's rising. I just want you to get a sense of light. Okay? Putting my hands back together. Now with that, I'd like you to imagine. Now I've said to you many times that imagine this band of light. This band of light that's 1 foot long, and it's spinning around you. Okay, so I'm just trying to get you used to imagining this light. So what I'd like us to do right now, if we can imagine light, the strength of light, the power of light, the glimmer of light, this light. And wherever you get it from, I don't know where you're going to get it from. I don't know if you're going to get it from your heart, if you're going to get it from the sun that's coming down on you. Maybe it's coming from the heavens. It's entirely up to you. I want you to find or ask yourself, maybe you're going to say, where is this light? Bring me this light. Maybe that's the best way to do it. All right, so that's the answer. So we're dropping down, we're pushing away any thoughts, and we're tuning into our senses. And we're asking ourselves, where is the light coming from? So I'd like you to imagine this light. And I'd like you to imagine the earth. And I'd like you to imagine that the earth is spinning and this light is spinning around the earth. And I'm holding this up so that you have the visual of all the different countries and you're imagining light spinning around the earth. And this white light spinning around the earth will help take away any darkness or negativity. Now, if we all do this together, it's very, very powerful. So we're imagining light spinning around the earth, and maybe you want to do it clockwise and counterclockwise, and you're just spinning the light around the earth. We spoke about the Merkaba and how you're spinning one way and then you're spinning another way. So I'd like you to imagine this because you are a light worker and you're creating light around the earth. So you're imagining this light. Now maybe you want to imagine the light completely engulfing the earth and it's not going around. You decide, you create it. Now you will find that there's going to be information that comes to you. This is a way of cracking open all of your gifts. You have gifts within you. And some of them you've mastered and some of them you're going to master. So maybe you want to imagine like grid work covering the earth. So light's coming down onto the earth in certain locations from the heavens, from the sunlight, whatever it is for you, you imagine it. It's going to be your own technique. You're creating a technique right now. You're imagining light circling the earth because we are together taking away all the negativity. We're taking away all the darkness. We are spinning light. So I'm going to do it with both hands because I'm spinning light around the earth. And I'm doing it counterclockwise. I'm spinning light around the earth. I'm imagining the earth. I'm imagining all the continents on the earth. And it's a big ball, the earth. And then I'm spinning it clockwise. I spun it counterclockwise. And I'm spinning it around the earth. And this, you think this isn't going to make a difference. It is. Now you can close your eyes and not even use your hands, and you can just imagine light spinning. It's really to the degree that you are capable of visualizing. It's the degree that you're capable of figuring this out. So if I was to, before we go, I'm just imagining this. If I was to tune into my clear senses, I've already relaxed. I've dropped down. I'm tuning into my clear senses. 1, 2, 3, I'm doing this. And I'm going through my clairaudience and I'm learning about this. If I was to ask myself, light spinning around the earth, light covering the earth, and see what I see, I might just get some kind of impression. Maybe you want to try that and get an impression. So I received like a lot of like kind of screams, and I think it's like darkness screaming because when I do this, I think darkness is screaming. I don't know. It's very strange. All right, everyone. Well, I'm wishing you well. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to spin light, and you're in the center of it, and you're making a wish. I want good things for you. I'm spinning it this way. I'm going to hold up Elsa so that you can see Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And you can see Elsa, she got her grooming. And this is what she looks like now. She looks like a little different puppy dog. And she's saying goodbye to everyone. And I want good things for you. And I'll be back again another day this week. I don't know which day. Maybe it's tomorrow. I will post it. Darkness just blew a fuse. Yes, it did, music. So thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. I want good things for you. Everyone be well. Elsa's saying bye. Bye, Bob Harding. Spinning light and love. Perfect. Perfect, Bob Harding. Thank you, Ghost Night. You guys are awesome. Be well. Bye, music. Bye-bye.